Volcan Poaz, part of the Ring of Fire in the Pacific and part of the volcanic range in Costa Rica, going through Central America all the way down. Aloha, namaste, so much love. This is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele report. And this one is for April 10th of 2013. It's a weekly astrological, taking the pulse of the collective consciousness as reflected through the planetary positions, the constellations, the signs of the zodiac, with the eternal unfolding through cyclical repetition and change as depicted in the stars. Anyway, I hope you felt that new moon. Like, it was a couple hours ago. I just did this. This is Wednesday. We had this new moon at 20 degrees of Aries, conjunct Venus and Mars. We've got this moon, Venus, Mars, Sun conjunction. Bam! Wow! Yeah. And on Friday, Mercury joins the party in Aries. So then on Saturday, we've got Mercury, Uranus, Sun, Venus, Mars, Moon. 6 planets going on there. Well, the moon has moved on actually by then. But we have a lot. There's a lot of energy with Aries, the god of war, fire, impulse, cardinal initiation. I'm going to talk about what that means. But then we also have, as of on Monday, Venus moves out of Aries into Taurus. And what else is going on this week? Yeah, we have this new moon. It goes through Aries, and then on Thursday it goes into Taurus. On Saturday it goes into Gemini, and then on Monday it goes into Cancer. So this new moon, and then we're gonna come into that first quarter moon, next week. I think it's next Wednesday. So we're in this first quarter phase, the new moon. The last new moon was about a month ago. Yeah, the moon goes around once a month. And the last one was in Pisces. So that new moon in Pisces, and this is kind of what I want to talk about too, because there's one more thing that I want to mention with the astrology before we get into what it all means and stuff. And that is Pluto is going stationary and retrograde. Yeah, and on Thursday. And so this is a point where boom, stop, retrograde. And what we have is Pluto has been direct since September, and it comes around, and in April it goes retrograde. Backwards until September it goes direct. April, retrograde. This has been going on for quite some time. And this actually gives me an opportunity to talk about some of the larger cycles that are happening. This Pluto-Uranus square that I have been talking about, it's time to get into it a little more specifically now. We are about 9 months into this square that is lasting over 2.5 years. The first exact square of Uranus to Pluto was in June of 2012. And it's coming around, and the last one is in March of 2015. So we've had 9 months of this Pluto square Uranus, and it's going to go for almost 2 more years. We are not even halfway through. Yeah, we're like a third of the way into this. So it's a big, 3-year transition. And that transition is about Pluto in Capricorn, Uranus in Aries. It's our relationship to authority, our relationship to the law, and the transformation of that relationship. So now with Pluto going retrograde, from now until September, retrograde means rebel, redo. reintegrate, personalize, change that energy. So this time, I hate to say it, but Pluto going retrograde is more intense because it's time for us to take the transformation personally and not be transformed by the outside, but rather take that initiative and we be the change. It's not about adapting, it's not about flowing so much. It's about initiating, creating, starting. So we had that new moon in Pisces a month ago, and we had, some energy going on in Aries, but that was a time of, I would say, reaching inward and upward for the inspiration, for the dream, to dream the dream forward, to pull it in. And that was this Uranus and Aries, pulling that stuff in. And now, new moon in Aries is to put it out, to manifest it on this plane through, as the moon moves through Taurus, moves into Gemini. It's like taking our dream, that love, that hope, that relationship, that job, that project, that movie, whatever we've been envisioning, and now it's time for the rubber to start hitting the road. And that begins very often through, it's like this time now is like the gates. I think of a horse race. The horses are at the gates, and the gates are now open. It's time to charge. And what, of course, do we feel right away with that? Fear. The planet Mars has a moon called phobia, fear. Always goes around it. Wherever the warrior goes, wherever Mars goes, there goes fear. Courage is acting in the face of fear, not because of any lack thereof. So this is a time when a lot of us are facing that fear. I had the dream. Can I just stay in bed and keep dreaming? No, 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 no. If you are not like jumping and pushing and, like ready to go, life is giving you a kick in the butt. Because one way or the other, we're getting out of the old and into the new. We're becoming our own sovereign, autonomous authorities and trying to manage and work with relationships at the same time. So this weekend, actually, then, the moon moves through Taurus. It's going to oppose Saturn. And we got this Pluto up there in Capricorn. And what this really signifies is, as soon as we start, we bump into, we run into all the unfinished business, we run into all the commitments, we run into all the demands and all the expectations of all the other people in our lives. This is happening particularly, on Sunday. When that moon, the moon is, on Saturday. I'm sorry, I gotta look. No, Sunday is much better, We have that moon in opposition to Saturn actually on Thursday, tomorrow. So what we do is we get this new moon, we get this impulse on Wednesday. Thursday, we bump up against, oh my goodness, in order to manifest this impulse, I got to come up with this money, or I got to pay this money, or this person, or Uncle Sam, taxes, or whatever, is like wanting all this out of me. And I got to summon up my courage, I got to summon up my strength, I got to summon up my self-love. And not forget that it's about love, and it's about union, and it's about manifesting these dreams. And these dreams are about connection. So if we hold on to that vision, to that heart space, fear is the result of ego, sense of separation. And it is the opposite of love, which operates out of union and moves towards union. So we focus on what's wrong and ourselves as separate. The idea here would be to keep the focus towards love, towards union, towards making goals and commitments that are going to bring people, situations together. Yeah. And there's a price to pay with all of this, you know. And then on Sunday's a beautiful day when we've got all those planets in Aries, and the moon comes around to hit Jupiter in Gemini. After all this, like, you know, needing to summon up my courage and summon up my warrior and give myself a kick in the butt to get out there and get going, it's like moon comes around to Jupiter and it's like, yeah, you know, I'm not alone. There's other people. We can, you know, I got friends. You know, it's all happening. The wheels will be in motion through this weekend and into next week. That moon comes around, and then of course it hits. Yeah, on Tuesday, moon goes into Cancer, makes a grand trine with Jupiter and Saturn, T-square with Pluto and Uranus, and a lot of the pieces of the puzzle are going to fall together. So, yeah. This is a very special time of, it's like a setup, a spiritual setup for each and every one of us to face our fears, to look at what we are afraid of. This is this Aries Mars warrior. I'm afraid of relationship. I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of, you know, losing, failing, of not being enough. Look, you know, it's time to sit with these fears. And then it's also time to also see what gets us angry. The warrior Mars energy is anger. It's when other people trigger us, and look at and go down into the deeper roots. If we're angry about something, it's because we're afraid of something. And it's all this ego stuff. So this is a time of being able to see, spot our fears, our ego, where we are in separation, and that is then where we can change. So the mantra for this week is, I now summon Spirit Warrior from the depths of my inner soul to vanquish my fear with the sword of love and lead me to my goal. I like this one, yeah. I now summon my Spirit Warrior from the depths of my inner soul to vanquish my fear with the sword of love and lead me to my goal. It's time to get on that horse and ride and use that power, the Kundalini, that Martian force, to individualize, become clear, and charge. I wish you the very best week. Have a good time with it all. Don't let it get you too upset, you know. Take that energy and channel it, funnel it, use it like a motorboat to push you forward instead of hold you down. Namaste, aloha, so much love. Signing off. So what do you think you're doing there, fella? Yes, sirree. How friendly.
Very friendly.
Nice big smile. Opens up his arms to come and see us. Hello. Just kind of waving.
Yeah.
There it is. Oh my goodness. Oh yes. Goodness me. A sloth.
Not going too far too fast. Just kinda lazing around. Yes, indeed.